Hey guys, it's April, and this painting I have for you today is a landscape pour. It has been a very long winter, and I wanted something bright and summery, bright blue skies, green fields, and just the feeling of sun on your face. So I've started by putting all my colors in one cup. It's a dirty pour, I'm just pouring the colors in there. And then I'm going to do a flip cup for my sky. This last color I'm putting in is actually a cloud mix that I forgot to put in while I was layering the paints. And we're going to flip this cup, give it a few seconds to settle, and then pull the cup away and really let the paints do their thing. You have to be very patient when you're doing this. You want to let the paints go all the way down to one side, and then tip it back to the other and let the paints go all the way back to the other side and just see what they're going to do. Once you've done that, then you want to tip it upward and allow the paint to go up to one corner and then to the other corner. All of these paints are acrylic tube paints mixed with floetrol and water for consistency, and I did add a squirt of Josonja gloss varnish to each paint. I've never done that before with one of these pours, and I just wanted to see what the paints would do. They kind of thickened up a little bit. I don't know that I would do it again, but sometimes it gives some really cool reactions, so I just was curious as to how it would react in these paints. Now I'm just trying to get my clouds where I want them. I had pictured them in the middle of the sky, and so I'm just bringing the sky back down to where I had pictured them. But at the same time, I had pictured a bright blue, vibrant sky, so I wanted to go back in with the blues and just get rid of a few of those clouds and make the lower half of the sky just very, very blue. So I filled my cup again with some blue and a little bit of that dark purple and flipped it onto the canvas. And then I'm just going to let those paints flow down one side all the way to the other side and push those clouds a little bit up higher into the sky. Now that I'm happy with the sky, I'm going to go ahead and pull my tape. Taping your canvas off in the middle allows for a crisp, clean line between your sky and your land. Gives you a nice straight horizon. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some paint along that horizon line. And this little bit of paint here just helps to act as a buffer between your sky and your land to help that horizon line stay as straight as possible. You're going to do this very carefully and just try to push the paint just right up against that line without pushing that line or pushing the green into the blue. It really is just going to go right up against it. And now I'm going to start layering my greens into the cup. I had pictured a nice bright field of grass with maybe some rolling hills and a few like little yellow flowers in there, or just lines of contrast. So that's what I'm doing. I'm mixing these colors again in a dirty cup pour, and then I'm going to flip it onto the lower half of the canvas. Once I pull the cup away, I always bring it back and drag it through the colors. And that just helps to add some lines of interest in there and give it a little bit of depth. You do want to be much more careful with your bottom half of your landscape so that you don't tip it upward and push your sky further up. So I'm trying to be very careful here, just going back and forth to bring the colors to the edge, and then I'll tip it down to bring the colors down towards the corners. Now, if your paint stopped flowing well, or your horizon is getting a little bit wonky and not straight, don't be afraid to add more paint to the canvas like I'm doing here. This little bit of buffer paint will help to pull the paint down while keeping your horizon line fairly straight, because it won't have to pull down as much to bring that paint over the edge because you've added a little bit extra there. And you can see my line is not quite straight. There's a little bit of a curve to it, but we're going to fix that in a little while. Now that I'm fairly happy where it's at, I'm grabbing my skewer and I'm just going to add some small little details. Pull out some lines where I feel like things needed to be extended, and just add some areas of interest into the painting. And here we go, fixing that horizon line as best we can. I'm taking a small strip of damp paper towel and just swiping it along the line. And I'm catching both the sky and the land on that piece of paper. Okay, so here it is wet. And as it started to dry, you can see the clouds started to crack a little bit. I'm thinking that was probably from the varnish I added. You can see how cracked they are there. This is it dry. Once it was completely dry, I went in and I added a tree. I added some texture to the clouds and a little white church on the hill just for some interest. And I'm pretty happy with the way this came out. If you like this too, please hit that subscribe button, share, and go find some joy in your day.